This video is brought to you by Keeps. Bobby, if you're watching this, go buy some. The stress is probably going to do a number on that main of yours. The discount link is down below in the description. Okay, today we're back on Activision Blizzard because Activision Blizzard can't seem to stop dominating the news cycle, and all of it, literally all of it, is absolutely negative. This might be the most high-profile series of lawsuits I've ever seen in the video game industry, at least personally, as long as I've been in it. And the end game for all of it remains to be seen as of yet, but every week, practically every day even, there are new developments and revelations that shake this company to its very foundation. To briefly recap the older news before diving into what's new, and I'll keep this as brief as possible, in July of 2021, the DFEH, a disciplinary arm of the California state government, announced to the public that it would be bringing charges against Activision Blizzard as a result of their workplace culture. Immediately after, Blizzard, owned by Activision Blizzard Publishing, got pretty much all of its dirty laundry aired out publicly to the entire world on social media, experienced a worker strike/walkout, had its CEO resign, and a few more troubling items as well, but that in itself could be a three-part miniseries on HBO. There was a complaint against Activision Blizzard filed to the National Labor Relations Board, not just a complaint in the singular sense, as in one lone employee decided to do it. This was a coordinated effort. A signed letter from thousands of current and former staff was directed against the leadership, and I don't know if I'm forgetting anything right now, but there was a torrential downpour of actual professional shit that splattered across the company in every single direction. Well, things haven't actually gotten any better. In fact, they've gotten exponentially worse because the shareholders, rocked by the downward pressure that results from a state-issued investigation into workplace culture and abuse, on top of a market that is already experiencing significant headwinds in the past year or so, the shareholders decided to press the issue of adequate disclosures, and now the SEC is investigating the company while the CEO, Robert Kotick, the man, the myth, the legend, has been subpoenaed in the process. Let's give a brief overview of Robert Kotick, who he is, what he does, and how the last few years have been shaped as a result, because the buck stops with him. Robert A. Kotick, I'm just going to call him Bobby from now on, is a multimillionaire CEO who has controlled the future of Activision Blizzard for quite some time. Appointed in 2012, I believe, Bobby has overseen a dramatic and unending spree of quarterly and annual growth which has seen the company extend year-over-year record-high income like a Swiss watch. Focusing on the more recent years, Bobby was named in 2019 as the 45th most overpaid CEO in America, alongside names like Ian Reed from Pfizer or Kenneth Chenault from American Express. By itself, that's interesting, but in 2020, according to the same annual report from As You Sow, Bobby had actually risen from number 45 to number 19. The thing is, Ian Reed from Pfizer and Kenneth Chenault from American Express were nowhere to be found. In fact, Pfizer and American Express, even if they had a change in leadership, weren't on the list at all. And instead, Bobby found himself as the 19th most overpaid CEO, alongside David Kenny from Nielsen Holdings and Andrew Wilson from the reviled EA, Electronic Arts, a competitor for Activision Blizzard. Well, now it's 2021, and somehow, I don't really know why, I felt like checking again as I made this video. It turns out Bobby is now, according to the same annual report yet again with the same exact measurement index, Bobby is now the 16th most overpaid CEO, and Andrew Wilson isn't on the list. Neither is Electronic Arts. Meanwhile, Nielsen Holdings, with Mr. David Kenny, has fallen to number 64, meaning that for the past 3 years, Bobby Kotick has risen in the index of overpaid CEOs, while his immediate peers, at the very least, have fallen off of it completely or drastically reduced their relative position. Basically, proportionally, he is increasing at a dramatic rate. One last thing before moving on, in 2019, Bobby was facing a rejection percentage, those that oppose his pay scale on the board of directors, of 8%. 92% of the board voted in favor that year. In 2020, that percentage had risen from 8 to 18, and in 2021, it went from 18 to 28. Now, one more critical factor, this report seems to have been published before the actual 2021 vote itself, which means it was based on prior tax year data, because according to Yahoo Finance, in June of 2021, Bobby was facing an opposition percentage as high as 46%, and his compensation package, in totality, was approved by a razor-thin 54% majority. There is an undeniable trend here. Every year he rises on the list of overpaid CEOs, and every single year he loses support in his company. But all of this was happening even before the lawsuit from the DFEH, before the case expanded to include allegations that the company was quite literally, physically shredding evidence, and it was happening before he got subpoenaed by the SEC in a multifaceted legal case that is now affecting every single vertical in the entire company. Sponsor time. Are you aware that 2 out of 3 men experience hair loss before the age of 35? Are you also aware that by far the primary demographic who watch this channel are men ages 18 to 45? Honestly, not surprising, but still worth mentioning. There are some viewers who don't fall into that bracket, and I appreciate you a great deal, but for the sake of sponsored marketing, it aligns extremely well with a product like Keeps. Keeps is a hair loss prevention treatment with more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. You can order and get treated directly from your own home for a cheaper price tag than competing products, and they offer generic versions of the only 2 officially FDA-approved hair loss treatments on the entire market. For a limited time, using the link directly down below in the description, you can get 50% off your first order. Again, that's 50% off your first order if you click the link down below in the description. Keeps can help prevent or even reverse the process of hair loss in some cases, so combining that with an audience who is the most susceptible demographic when it comes to hair loss in general, it's an ongoing partnership that just honestly makes sense. Big thank you to Keeps for sponsoring the channel. Now for a phrase I've said all too many times recently, which is, we're not even close to being done. Immediately after the SEC announcement, there was an email leaked to Dexerto, which was the first outlet I believe to report on this, that indicates an inquiry by the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is a separate regulatory arm of the government, which makes a grand total of at least 3 different commissions or agencies actively investigating or pressing charges against this company. Well, that's a storm that can theoretically be weathered under the right circumstances, but simultaneously, actually, on the very same day these announcements hit the public sphere, Activision Blizzard's chief legal officer, Claire Hart, resigned. She posted on her LinkedIn profile about moving on to new opportunities and how she is so very honored to have worked there. But when your chief legal officer is literally exiting the building on the very same day that the SEC and EEOC investigations are being publicly revealed, we must ask the question, why is that happening? To recap here, Bobby Kotick has been a rising member of the exclusive club, Most Overpaid CEOs in America, for the past 3 years. Meanwhile, his opposition in the board has risen dramatically during that same span of time to a razor-thin margin of approval. Soon after their latest compensation vote, the company is hit with a California state lawsuit that alleges gross malpractice and other infractions. Thousands of current and former staff revolt against them, leading to a submission for the National Labor Relations Board and other public image pitfalls all across the board, all over social media, constantly. The CEO of their most prominent subsidiary, it's even in their actual publisher name now, Blizzard, steps down, and then after that, the optics go completely pear-shaped when they are accused of shredding evidence, right on the heels of all of it, which is already a horrifying series of events by itself, everything I've already previously mentioned. But after this, the SEC and the EEOC announce probes, subpoena Bobby himself, and their chief legal officer resigns within hours of those announcements. That, to me, sounds like a sinking ship. Now, Activision Blizzard has in fact responded to this new set of accusations with their own statement. Sections of it read as follows, including a statement from Bobby Kotick himself. Quote, "We are deeply committed to making Activision Blizzard one of the best, most inclusive places to work anywhere. There is absolutely no place anywhere in our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. While we continue to work in good faith with regulators to address and resolve past workplace issues, we also continue to move ahead with our own initiatives to ensure that we are the very best place to work. We remain committed to addressing all workplace issues in a forthright and prompt manner." The company is actively engaged in continuing discussions with the EEOC and has cooperated with the EEOC's investigation concerning certain employment practices. It also confirmed that it is complying with a recent U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) subpoena issued to the company and several current and former employees and executives regarding disclosures on employment matters and related issues. The company is confident in its prior disclosures and is cooperating with the SEC's investigation. End quote. There's more, like how they exited a number of staff while correcting the problem, which would heavily imply that they are now acknowledging that the problem is real and about face on their position prior to this point, as stated by the Chief Compliance Officer, Fran Townsend, in another optics fiasco, I forgot that one, and also fired people who should have been fired a long time ago, so it seems. But again, there's some speculation there, so this is a bit of a weird statement to make. The rest of their statement is literally, we make popular games, our games make tons of money, we employ veterans, so we are therefore moral, and we are connected to good things, so don't hate us because that means you hate those good things too. And we are great, plus we have a crazy track record of profit increases. Also, here's the token forward-looking statement disclosure, because absolutely nothing we have said here means a single thing, and all of it could change for absolutely any reason at any time in the future. Obviously, my own sarcasm is heavily layered into that last bit there, but you get the point because it is a blatant example of corporate puff piece writing. I find it incredibly hard to believe that Bobby Kotick will be the CEO for very much longer, but at the very least, his compensation package probably won't get approved again at this kind of ratio, if this kind of trend increases or continues even into the future. The funny thing, he actually took a 50% pay scale cut in 2021, but if we're going to say the quiet part out loud here, his compensation package has almost nothing to do with the actual salary. His salary was decreased by 50% from 1.6 million thereabouts to 875,000. However, that's inconsequential when he is getting tens of millions in combined bonuses as well as stock options each and every year. The pay cut was projected as some sort of voluntary and benevolent gesture. Bobby was okay with this. He volunteered for this, and it was a great thing to do. And on the surface, maybe it actually looked that way to the more gullible shareholders or people that are uninformed, but as per SEC filings, that's not actually what happened. This was a result of internal pressure from the board of directors and, most importantly, major investors. Major investors who have now opened the doorway for the SEC to subpoena C-suite executives in their company, not just Bobby, as they look for negligence, fraud, lies, manipulations, failure to disclose. Who knows what, honestly. Bottom line, this is a gauntlet of trials and tribulations for Activision Blizzard and an unmitigated disaster for Bobby Kotick himself. The company is reeling and can't seem to find its legs. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but for some, the whole thing is a blazing example of catharsis owing to the negative reputation and effects of Activision Blizzard on the wider gaming industry. For those people, I hope this video felt good for you to watch. For anyone else, check the links down below. I'll try to shorten the outro today. Links are in the description down below. Odyssey, which has bi-weekly exclusives over there, Locals, where you can give $5 a month, Kickstarter, where I'm helping launch a product, and another gaming YouTuber to check out as well. Also, Keeps, buy it if you're as stressed as Bobby Kotick probably is, plus more. That's it. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.